Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face and welcome back to another edition of this McLaren career on Motorsport Manager. Last time out we had an amazing finish in, where was it? Portugal, Tondela. We actually came first in that race. The rain coming in really handy for our strategy. We managed to keep Alonso out long enough just to swap over onto the new tyres as it started raining. A lot of the other cars then had already made a pit stop, weren't anticipating the rain coming, all had to pit. It played into our hands brilliantly. We actually won by quite a margin in the end, I think. So as you can see, we had Alonso. Danny Kvyat in the Toro Rosso finished second, picking up 18 points, his best points tally of the season so far, and Verstappen picked up the podium as well. He's now got 3 podiums in a row as Verstappen. As you can see, the Mercedes are really struggling at the moment. They have had 2 wins this season. They have won. Mercedes have actually won the most races this season, haven't they? Ferrari yet to win a race. Vettel's been on the podium each time, whereas Kimi Räikkönen's been on the podium once, but he's finished low down in a lot of the other races. So yeah, we're not going too badly this season. We are in our target position of 5th at the moment. We have actually managed to overtake for Force India with that win. Mercedes really struggling there, only 1 point in front of us at the moment. Their reliability problems really taking a toll on them this season. They reverted back to their poor form, only Valtteri Bottas finishing in the points last time out. So they're 9th and 10th at the moment in the driver's standings. Williams having a really good showing this season. We've had a win and a podium in 3rd place for Massa. He's been 4th for all the other races since then. So Massa on course at the moment. He's got a 10-point lead over Sebastian Vettel. It should start evening itself up as we're possibly going to see the Mercedes come back now. They finished outside the top as low as they did because I think the rain played into their strategy, well, totally ballsed up their strategy, shall we say, in the last race. So that's why they finished down. So we might be seeing Mercedes come back here, but we've got wet practice and we've got a wet race. It looks like we're going to have a full wet race, or we're going to be on full wets at some point during this race. So maybe that's going to pull into our favour once again. And as you can see, we are currently building a new engine. I can't recall, I should have had a look back at the other video, but I think this does have a legendary part coming in at the moment, because if we go onto our staff, we obviously hired Paddy Lowe. We have actually managed to put this epic boost in, this known component. It adds a random legendary component. I think we've got upwards of 90 points it can add on, so we should be making a huge leap forward with the engine after this race. So that will be in the next episode. We'll see what the massive engine upgrade is at the moment. Still, it's really underpowered at the moment. I think the Mercedes, could have a look and see what they start out with, but I think they're over 1,000, so we've still got a long way to catch up. And we're really underpowered at the moment. We've got 2 equal engines, brakes, but we do have this new rear wing. So we do have a new upgrade on the rear wing going into the car. This time it's just about there. Reliability wise, we managed to get it there at the moment. We're still actually just exclusively working on that part to get it up to what we want it to be. Fernando Alonso has got that new part. I think we've given it to Alonso. Yes, we have. The only part that's better that Van Dorn has is the front wing. I'm pretty resigned at the moment to letting Stoffel Van Dorn leave at the end of the season. He's got 6 months left on his contract. He is really unhappy with us at the moment. He does not want to re-sign. So Button, depending on whether he wants to retire at the end of the season, he is interested at the moment. I'm not going to start negotiations with him at the moment. So it may come to a point where if we get to like race 10 or even race 9, maybe even race 8, even after, once we go to Doha and Van Dorn's not any happier, we might just go and put Button back in the car, because why should we develop Van Dorn? Why should we go ahead and let him develop with us, only for him to move to another team at the end of the season? So that's where we're at the moment. 16 laps. Cape Town, it's a pretty short track, isn't it? So we got a quite long, the laps are a little bit more than they usually are for us here. 26, 15 Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. My actual favourite track, Sao Paulo, so I'm looking forward to that being the race end of this season. There's only 16 races on this calendar. It's not the usual lengthy calendar. We're a few races down on the actual F1 calendar, but yeah, so that's where we're at the moment. We're still waiting for the HQ. Obviously, we don't have any new sponsors to come up. We're still making £740,000 per race at the moment, and we are going to go for this one, so we should be, hopefully, well, actually, I don't actually want to be in the top 10 in qualifying either. That is what worked out for us last time. Alonso didn't actually manage to get into the top 10, which allowed us to go a lot longer on the tyre, seeing as we didn't have to start the race on the warm pair of tyres that we finished Q2 on. That is what worked into the hands of Alonso. Obviously Van Dorn could have finished a lot higher up in the last race, but he crashed. So just depending on what Van Dorn gets out of the next couple of races, we're going to possibly be demoting him for Button. But anyway, that's enough talk before this race. We've got Cape Town, which obviously simulates the Monaco Grand Prix. We won't be jumping into practice now. We always skip practice. We will come back to watch the simulated qualifying, and then we'll jump into the race and we'll go from there. So here we go with qualifying. We actually look pretty quick in practice just for once, but we've got wet weather here early. It's going to dry out in this first qualifying session, so everyone's come out on the intermediate tyres. We've got a few on wet tyres, so it's going to mess a few of these cars up. Everyone should have waited a little bit, so it's going to throw everything out on this first lap. So hopefully we've got enough time to get everyone out. No, have we got both cars going out? No, we've got an out lap going here. A lot of these cars have done. Have they come out? Have they been out? 108. Where are we on our laps? Yes, we just about just managed to get in there. Looks like we're just going to squeak through into Q2. We just thought we were going to go out for a moment there, but Alonso inside the top 10 here, so not too bad there. So we're catching up to the Force India. It looks like Van Dorn's still way off the pace here in 15th. He obviously doesn't have as good a car as Fernando Alonso's. We've got both, no, we don't have both Toro Rossos out here. Danny Kvyat squeaked into 14th place. So we've got a Toro Rosso out, and then, as usual, we've got both Renaults and both Haas's out. Both of these Haas's really struggling this season. The Saubers in this mod have a really good engine. It's really highly rated, obviously, because they do have the Ferrari engine. Sauber in real life have last year's Ferrari engine, so I don't think it should be quite high as rated, because I think at the moment their engine is actually rated higher than the one that the Ferraris actually have. Might just have a quick look at that again after we finish this race. So we'll simulate the next session as well. So we know we've got rain coming for during the race, so I'm kind of not wanting to be in the top 10 here, but I think Alonso's done enough to improve to get himself into the top 10, and Van Dorn coming 15th again. He's behind Verline. We must have done that on a super soft tyre, so we're actually behind the Saubers there in that respect. And there we go, we're about 100th of a tenth faster than the second Force India at the moment, so that's not bad. We've managed to get Alonso into the third Q3. I think this is his first time in Q3 this season. Obviously Button managed to do it in his race in Russia, but as we can see, this Cape Town track, there is a lot of slow corners and not a lot of long straights, so our McLaren car is possibly at its strongest around this track. Perez not even setting a lap time here. He's come out on intermediate, so it looked like he messed up. So we're going to actually beat Perez into 9th place here. A long way off the pace. He mustn't have had any ultra soft tyres left, Perez, other than the one that he's going to be starting the race on. So hopefully the rain is going to be hitting early here since we've made the top 10. We don't want it to hit somewhere after we've just made that. And it looks like we've got rain to start. And it looks like it's going to be going out of full wets pretty early here. So we're going to start, yeah, we're going to be starting on full wets. Yeah, so the tyre that we did Q2 in obviously doesn't apply here. We're going to have to go for this intermediate, because maybe we'll be going intermediates for at some point during the race. Intermediates. We'll go for the boost. We do have tyre changes 50% faster. It's only going to save about a second, so the intermediate bonus is going to give us a lot more over the race. We're pretty much there as regards to setup. It's a 26 lap race. We can only get 9 laps out of a wet tyre. It just depends how long the rain's going to last. You have selected tyres which don't suit the current weather conditions. Yes, we have, because it's going to be wet pretty early. I'm guessing the AI cars are all going to be coming out on wet, since that's what it's suggested for us at the start. Hopefully it's not. Yeah, everyone's going for wet, so it looks like. A couple of intermediates down the back. The Renaults, the Haas's desperately try something different here. Maybe they know something about the rain that we don't. That is going to be stopping pretty quickly. Here we go. We've got Alonso 9th. Hopefully we can get a good start. We've got both Williams in front of us, and that's Perez already getting past us. And is that the Sauber? No, that's a Toro Rosso of Kvyat. We should have the inside line here. We're going to get the Red Bull, are we? And we've got, there we go, we're down into 11th. Jostling for position here. Alonso manages to get himself, he dives through the inside. Who's that? Perez and Verstappen. Absolutely brilliant move from Alonso. Van Dorn, meanwhile, has dropped right to the back. He's battling with the Renaults at the moment. He seems to be struggling himself. Rain is going to be stopping after about lap 4, it looks like. Alonso, meanwhile, still battling here. We're going to wait for this, and we're going to get enough boost to use. It's going to be no, we're a bit too far behind there. Can we use it with Van Dorn to pick up these couple more places? It does. It gets him 3 places there. He now moves ahead. The Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz. He's now behind Verline. It's a bit damp out on track. Can I come in for Inters? No, you can't, because it's going to get a lot wetter in a second. So what have... Because those 2 Renaults and one of the Haas's who were on intermediates, look, they've managed to make a massive jump on these intermediate tyres because they suit the conditions a lot more at the moment. But they are going to drop down pretty quickly as these wet tyres come into effect in a second. So we're going to be picking up 3 places from Alonso. So he is effectively 8th at the moment. Although he looks to be losing out to another. Van Dorn's done brilliantly to get himself back up the order here. He's going to be challenging Alonso, and Van Dorn makes a move. Is Alonso going to keep it? Alonso keeps it. Gets behind the Williams of Lance Stroll here. Van Dorn manages to get back past the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz. Alonso clinging on here. Pretty hectic start to this race here, and we're going to have to think about turning down here, aren't we? And we don't have to think about saving the tyres, do we? Because we're going to be coming in for Inters. Or maybe we do just have to think, because maybe this rain is going to drop off yet. The rain totally stopped, so there's going to be a point in this race where we're going to be onto the dry tyres. So we want to go back down. Maybe we'll just go high for a little bit here. We do have some boost that we can use with Alonso. Maybe we should use it off this corner, but he is struggling at the moment. Is that enough to get him back past these cars and past Van Dorn as well? So brilliant. A lot of power down that straight for Alonso using that boost there. He's now behind the Force India of Perez. These 2 Haas's and the Renault still clinging on here. Should start falling down the order at the moment. They've made seems to have worked into their favour, because we're going to have to come in for the intermediates pretty soon, and they're going to be able to stay out, aren't they? So it seems like they made a really good choice for the intermediates. Maybe they have a better weather centre and can sort of see ahead of time a little bit better than we can. We're going to let Alonso into the pits first, I think. We do have some boost here. Van Dorn is up into 9th at the moment. He's got boost. He's up into 7th place now. Alonso 10th will use his boost down this straight. Not as much power because Perez has managed to use his boost, but Alonso gets past him as well. Track is still soaked at the moment. Should we get a jump? Still a bit early for this lap, isn't it? And these tyres are going to run out. I think the wets can pretty much go down to being threadbare. They can go down to 0% before they lose their effectiveness. Alonso still battling. Van Dorn doing excellently on this race. We were thinking about canning him, weren't we, to bring Button in, since he's possibly going to be leaving at the end of the season, but he's really performing on the wet tyres. He's doing what Jenson Button possibly would have done, being an expert on the wet tyres. We've got Alonso now battling with Verline off this corner. Maybe we should use his boost to try and get him in front here. And there we go, 7th for Alonso. Van Dorn in 6th. There we go. We've got Palmer all the way down. It looks like Magnussen and Grosjean have already come in for their wet tyres. For some reason, Palmer went on to another pair of intermediates. I don't know why they even pitted. Why would they go for wets when we're about to hit dry weather here? How quickly is this going to turn, this weather? It's going to start raining again. So it's not actually going to get dry, is it? So Alonso's our best chance. 9 laps. Going to have to be pretty conservative with these intermediate tyres if we want to get them to the end of the race. Because we actually used some intermediate tyres during qualifying with Alonso, didn't we? So maybe we need to keep him out a little bit longer. Van Dorn, meanwhile, does have 3 sets of the intermediates. We don't really want to be doing 3 stops, do we? So yeah, we're gonna pit Alonso this lap. It means we're gonna have to look after the intermediate tyres. We're going to try and get him a little bit of a jump here, because the track should start drying out this lap. But is it gonna? The rain has actually stopped at the moment. And there we go. We see it drying at the moment. Is it going to be dry enough for the intermediate tyres? Possibly not. That's possibly a mistake there. Van Dorn, meanwhile, on these. He's going to be coming for the inters as well on this lap. Maybe we should have gone the other way there, but just going to see where Alonso comes out here. He's possibly lapping quite a bit slower than the other cars at the moment. We'll use his boost to try and keep up a little bit. We'll boost Van Dorn into the pits and then out of the pits. A lot of these cars still staying out on the wet, so it can be said at the moment. So Alonso's going to be picking up a lot of distance on them. He's still going to be behind Van Dorn here. 14th. We do have a lot of cars out on wets here, so maybe we're going to be able to make a massive jump on these cars as well. So Van Dorn, meanwhile, is out of the pits. The weather is pretty cold, so we're going to be struggling for heating these tyres, but we're going to use the boost here. I'm going to try. We do need to look after the tyres, so we can't really push him into high mode here for Alonso. Should be able to make the move on Magnussen because he's on these slower wet tyres at the moment. And no one's actually coming to the pits again, so they're losing a lot of time here. We're still a long way behind. We should be gaining. So we're just going to use these boosts as much as we can to try and gain some of this time. Van Dorn, meanwhile, is 10th. He's already pitted. He's got the run now on Verstappen. The rain's just about starting again. I don't think it's going to get wet. It's going to stay around this level. We can't push these tyres too much. We do have to look after them. Maybe that's what these cars were thinking about. They want to get to a position where they can finish the race with 2 stops. We might be struggling. We're going to have to look after the next set of tyres, and we've got Stroll flying past us now. But Van Dorn has managed to get up into 4th. Alonso is in 8th, so that is where we filtered out there. So absolutely brilliant from Van Dorn there. But obviously, cars behind him are a lot quicker than him. Obviously, Hamilton is. So Mercedes a lot better than they have been in previous races. Stroll is faster than Hulkenberg. We've got Ferrari behind us here. Where is Vettel second? Yeah, so not really, but the most important thing is that they both Force Indias are out of the points at the moment. So that is brilliant news for us at the moment. We've got 15 laps left. We can still afford to push at the moment. Should we try recover fuel at the moment? And we've got a little bit of room to push towards the end of the race as we come out, or as we plan for the next pit stop. Is the rain going to stop again? We're going to get temperature's going to increase, but it looks like it's going to keep raining here. So we're on for another good points haul at the moment. Hamilton is really struggling to get past Stoffel Van Dorn here, and as we say that, we see Hamilton get past. We're going to use our boost out of this corner, try and fight back. Not working there for Van Dorn. We've got Lance Stroll in front at the moment, ahead of us. Hamilton. So we managed to get back past ahead of Hamilton there. So Van Dorn doing excellent, and I think that was Hamilton just flying past there. Should we try and close this gap up a little bit? Let's use a little bit of the boost. Try to look after these tyres. We need to get them a little bit further. They can do 9 laps. So if we can get it to about lap 17, that would be great. Obviously Van Dorn can go a little bit longer than Alonso can, because he pitted a lap after that, and it looks like we're going to be drying out. Is that right? So that might play into our hands brilliantly here. AI might want to go an extra lap or 2 like they did on the wet, so we might be able to jump in for the. So around this point, as it starts drying out, it's going to get to the point where the dry tyres and intermediate tyres match each other. Pretty evenly stacked. We've got a couple of cars already coming in, but that's because Ericsson's already worn through his intermediates. We're going to use a boost as much as we can here. 6, and Dorn's a little bit behind here. Third line starting to get in front. Hamilton's starting to move back up the order. So an increased performance from Mercedes here. Hamilton trying to chase down Massa at the moment, who might still be clinging on to first place in the drivers standing at the moment. Van Dorn is 6. These intermediate tyres almost gone for Alonso. Can we make him cling on to these for another lap or so? Can he cling on? We'll try and conserve these ones. Tyre temperatures are pretty low, but we needed to make them last as long as we can. What are we going to be able to get out of this last one? 7 laps, 9 laps. Just going to be pretty hard pressed to get that towards the end of the race, isn't it? Alonso does have to pit after this lap. We've got to make that move. Just going to start drying out. Yeah, these intermediate tyres are almost gone up. I can't remember what it is. I think it's 10%. 11 laps. It's going to be 10 left of that. So we're going to have to be really conservative on the super soft. So we're going to have to go soft. It does give us a bit of room to push. At that point, we can go back into high mode now as we're planning these pit stops. And Dawn, meanwhile, he has to go an extra lap because Alonso's got the first pit stop here. Stroll's coming into the pits as well, it looks like. So are any of these planning their pit stops on this lap? No, it doesn't look like it. They're all going to stay out for another lap. Alonso, meanwhile, is still doing pretty good. He's setting a pretty decent time on this pair of worn intermediates, but he's into the pits this time. He's going to push when he gets out of the pits. He's in 10th, it's going to be an 11th. It's going to be a push out of the pits. Just going to have to keep an eye on this. We've got 10 laps remaining. So we need 6 laps at the moment to recover that fuel. Van Dorn is going to hit the pits, so we're going to push into the pits so he doesn't lose too much time with this worn tyre. We can sort of make up for the time that we're losing on this intermediate, and we need to actually set it up, don't we? Oh, actually, so Van Dorn can actually do it on the super soft. No chance of using an ultra soft during this race. Pit strategy balanced. Hopefully he hasn't gone past the pits yet. No, he hasn't, so we're going to be able to dive in this time. And a lot of these cars have stayed out on the intermediates for this lap, so we might be able to make it a little bit here. Alonso's a bit further behind Van Dorn after that last set. Who's coming back at us now? We've got the intermediate tyre is still more effective at the moment, it looks like. It's going to switch pretty soon. Van Dorn, meanwhile, is 10th at the moment. Hopefully we can get him back into 4th at intermediate. Still a lot quicker. We're in the effective range, aren't we? See where we come out here. We're managing to get back past the Ferrari of Raikkonen, so we're 10th. A lot of them are on intermediate still. Looks like Alonso has been lapped, but he's going to unlap himself. That's why the fuel's showing that, so he can't actually use any extra fuel here. He's going to be able to unlap himself. There he does. You're going to have to start recovering fuel now as well. Whereas we can push these tyres a little bit now, it looks like. We're going to have to push. Maybe we can keep heating and we'll use up the boost as well. Van Dorn is 10th, and there goes Kimi Raikkonen, who's managed to come on the Ultrasoft. All these AA cars are going to be able to get in and out on the Ultrasoft. So where is Van Dorn going to be able to filter in through here? 10th at the moment. Still a couple of cars out on the intermediate, so we're going to be able to pick up a few more. Alonso is down in 17th. He's losing a lot of time here, isn't he? So intermediates didn't last long enough for us. Should be able to recover the fuel before the end of the race. And Dorn, meanwhile, is in the points. The Force India has managed to get back into the points as well. There's still a couple of cars out on intermediates here. We've got both Saubers still out on the intermediates. It looks like they're going to try and push to the end of the race. Do they know it's going to rain again? It's not going to rain again. 14th for Alonso. He's going to be able to make a move on Grosjean here. He's still struggling at the moment for pace as Alonso. And keep him ahead of the Renault here. Are we going to be able to get close enough to Perez to make a move on him? It doesn't look like it. We're losing time here. We're losing time at the moment. So a little bit of a boost. Try and close up. No chance of closing up with Perez here. Verline's dropped down the order. Ericsson's dropped down the order. Is Verline still in the pits? Are we going to be able to take 8th place? Yes, we are. But we're going to lose it to Verstappen here. We do have a boost. We should be able to come back at Verstappen. No, we can't. And we do. Van Dorn makes a brilliant move up the inside there. A couple of laps left here. We're going to be able to recover this fuel. Are we going to have to go into low mode at some point? 3 laps remaining here. We should. Yeah, we're going to be able to recover this fuel pretty easily. It looks like just need to try and fight off Max Verstappen here. Alonso, meanwhile, is a long way off the Force India, so we're just going to have to let him run his race here. Not much that Alonso can do, but Van Dorn having a brilliant race up into 8th place at the moment. Keep an eye on these tyres. Just try and hold Verstappen off by using the boost if he ever gets close to us. He's on the quicker tyres, getting a little bit closer, too close for comfort. Hold him off so we stay ahead of him on a little bit of a straight here. He's got a lot of boost left. I don't know why he's got a lot of boost left, so it doesn't like me a bit hold him off. Gearbox is going in Alonso's car. His tyres are getting pretty worn. 2 laps to go here. Just about recovered the fuel. We're going to be at home for stacking off here. We have a Sauber as well with a really strong engine. And there goes Verstappen. He's going to use his boost at some point. He's not using it at the moment. But Van Dorn's tyres are going. We've pushed everything to try and hold Verstappen off. And Verstappen's... What's happened to Verstappen, is it? His Ultrasoft's gone. His Ultrasofts have gone here. So maybe he's going to play into the hands of Raikkonen's have gone, but he's nearly finished the race, it looks like. We're going to lose out with Van Dorn here on the final lap. It does look like it. The tyres are shoddy. The tyres are shoddy. Doesn't look like we're going to lose a points place, though. Yeah, the super soft drop off. Even though the, yeah. 10th place, who have we got coming back at us here? Is this Alonso coming back? No, that is Verstappen coming back. He's not going to be able to catch Van Dorn. So a points finish. Not too bad there. We couldn't make the intermediates last a lot longer. The tyre wear seemingly pretty high on the intermediates and wets here. Only lasting 9 laps out of the race. I thought they would be able to go a lot longer than that. But not a bad result overall there, where we should be at the moment. Alonso pretty disappointing there. But he had to come in a little bit earlier than Van Dorn. But Van Dorn made a really good early move. He was up into 4th at one place, but 10th is not too bad for Van Dorn. Obviously Force India above us, Sauber above us, so we might have finished 6th in this race, so we're going to lose some of the chairman happiness. But not too bad. Alonso, another point for Van Dorn, puts him on to 6. So Force India, okay, back there, they're now above us, we're down into 6 in the table. So we finished 7th overall in the race, so that takes quite a bit of the chairman happiness away, doesn't it? Takes quite a lot away considering it's just one race. Works a little bit strange on this game because it's not too far behind. We have been doing well, but as you know, that's the way this game works. Continue 1.14 because we hit the targets in the race, didn't hit the chairman targets. It's gonna be enough to build another new part. So we do have the new engine coming up for the next race car. Meanwhile, let's have a look. Engine, as you can see, as I was saying, the Sauber do have the 4th best rated engine at the moment. Force India, who also have a Ferrari engine, 3rd. Their customer engines are rated better than the actual Ferrari engine, so that's pretty interesting to see. Mercedes obviously do have the best engine. They should still have the best car. Ferrari do have the 2nd best car. We have the 5th best car. And look at that, we're going to have another wet race in Vancouver as well. Absolute monsoon weather it looks like for Vancouver, going to be hitting at some point. That is in 10 days time, so we don't have a lot of time to work on this new engine to actually get it in the car, do we? So yeah, so tyre wear high, so it's going to be another race where strategy comes into play. But anyway, until next time, if you are not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment down below if we should put button in the car a little bit earlier, since we are pretty much resigned to the fact that we're going to be losing Van Dorn at the end of the season, as he's not going to sign a new contract. But anyway, until next time, I will see you down the road in Vancouver for the Canadian Grand Prix, and goodbye.